Today's recipe calls for frozen blueberries. I'm going to show you how to make chocolate blueberry protein muffins. They come together really quickly and they're super tasty. So with that said, let's get started. The first thing we need to do before we start making these breakfast protein goodies is preheat the baking box. Set the temp to 350 Fahrenheit or 176 degrees Celsius. Next, grab yourself a medium-sized holding apparatus and a fine mesh strainer. To that, we'll add all of our dry goods, starting with 2 cups or 240 grams of all-purpose flour. Next, add half a cup or 48 grams of your favorite protein powder. I went with a chocolate bro powder. Another great flavor option would be some vanilla protein powder. Following the muscle dust, add 1 teaspoon baking powder. Add in half a teaspoon baking soda. To make things even more chocolatey, we'll add 2 tablespoons cocoa powder. There are a few health benefits with cocoa powder, and it also has a gram of protein per tablespoon. Yeah, this stuff is pretty fancy. Enough free promotion to intensify the chocolate flavor. We'll add 1 teaspoon of some instant espresso powder. Sift all the dry goods into one cloudy, dusty mess. Push through any clumps that were left behind. Finally, add half a teaspoon sea salt. Whisk your face off to incorporate all the ingredients into one. In the end, all the powder should be brown in color, and you shouldn't see any of the white flour. Let's move on to prepping the wet ingredients. Snag a small bowl. Deshell 2 large room temperature eggs into the bowl. It's best to crack the eggs in a separate container. This way, if you accidentally get any of the shells, we can easily pick them out. Next, add half a cup or 113 grams of plain Greek yogurt. Following the yogurt, toss in 1 cup or 250 grams of unsweetened applesauce. To sweeten things up, add a 1/4 cup or 85 grams of honey. Pro tip, heat the honey up for 5 to 10 seconds in the radioactive box. This will help ensure you won't leave any behind. Can't waste this golden stuff. The last thing we need to add is the flavored liquid, known as vanilla extract. We'll add in 1 tablespoon of this stuff. Whisk your heart out to bring everything into one mess of things. Now it's time to incorporate the wet goods with the dry stuffs. I find it helps if you slowly pour the liquid into the other bowl while you whisk at the same time. This will help start the combining of all the things. Ensure you scrape the bowl clean to get everything out. No need to waste things. Once the batter starts to thicken, ditch the whisk and fold everything together with a rubber spatula, folding from the outside into the center of the bowl. Make sure you scrape the sides and bottom really well to ensure everything is mixed in properly. Repeat the same sweet baking moves until you can't see any more of the dry ingredients. Do not overmix the batter. Doing so will create gluten, which in turn will give us a dense, tough muffin. We don't want any of that nonsense. The next item is optional, but it'll make the eating experience that much better. Dump in half a cup or 85 grams of dark chocolate chunks. You can sub these for chips, but the chunks are better because they become melty when baked. It's best to use dark chocolate because it has health benefits compared to milk chocolate. Finally, add in 1 cup or 160 grams of frozen blueberries. Fold these 2 ingredients into the batter until well mixed in. This batter will make you a total of 16 delectable treats. Now that our muffin mix is made, let's do the final few steps before we bake them. Grab yourself a standard sized muffin tin. There are a few ways of prepping the pan. I tested 3 different methods when I made these bro muffs. The first method I did was spraying the muffin tins with a non-stick spray. I used non-stick coconut oil spray. Any will work. Hit each cup with a little spritz. Use a paper towel to spread the oil around in the cup and to take out any of the excess spray. Also, wipe the top off as well to get rid of any of the overspray that happened. Grab a spoon and fill each greased cup with the chocolate batter. Ensure you only fill them 3/4 of the way up. If you add too much, you'll end up with things overflowing and making a huge mess. Clean and wipe away any of the batter that didn't make it into the cup. This stuff will burn and will be a pain to clean later on. After the cups have been filled, add a few extra chocolate chunks for that sweet aesthetic look.
The next method I tested was using regular sized muffin liners, then sprayed each one with the same non-stick cooking spray. Repeat the same step as before, filling them 3/4 of the way up and adding the extra chocolate chunks. The last method I tried was adding uncooked rice to the bottom of the muffin tin. Should be enough rice to completely cover the bottom in one even layer. This trick is supposed to help prevent the bottom of the muffins from becoming greasy. In hindsight, this isn't totally necessary since our recipe doesn't contain any fat. So in theory, our muffins shouldn't be greasy. It's a great trick to use in other muffin or cupcake recipes. Any Hoosiers, enough tricks of the trade. Line each cup with some muffin liners. This time, we will leave the liners as they are. Drop the batter in each one like we have with the others, and add the extra choco on top. Do your best to get an even amount of berries and chocolate with each scoop. Shoot for the center of the liner when you add the goodness to it. I think this helps prevent the paper liners from crumpling on the sides. That's my theory, but I'm not a pro baker. After you've filled your pans with the chocolatey deliciousness, grab that thing and huck it into the preheated baking cube. Place it on the middle rack for the best baking results. Set a timer and bake these protein muffins for 20 to 25 minutes or until a cake tester comes out clean when poked in the center of the muffin. Another good indication is if the muffin top is lightly pressed on, it should immediately bounce back. Of course, times may vary depending on how hot your oven runs. When the buzzer rings, pull those sweet treats out of the heat. Check to see if they are done with a cake tester or a toothpick. If they're done and want to be extra bougie, sprinkle the tops with a small pinch of flaky sea salt. Make it hail salt on top of the melted chocolate. This will help ensure the salt sticks to the muffin. It not only looks good, but it'll place so well with the chocolate and the sweetness. Allow the muffins to hang out in the pan for 10 minutes. This way they can fully set up. When the 10-minute timer is up, transfer the baked goods over to a wire rack to completely cool all the way down. After all my intense and extensive research, the best methods to use are using muffin liners without using the cooking spray, or ditching the liners altogether and lightly spraying the muffin tin, then adding the batter in. Avoid using the combination of the paper liners with the cooking spray. This method made the bottom of the muffins greasy and soggy in texture. The method is supposed to prevent the muffins from sticking to the liners. I may have used too much nonstick spray and did it all wrong. Feel free to use whatever method works best for you. If you are going to use paper liners when you bake these goods, it's best to let them hang out overnight before you try to peel the paper off the muffin when you go to eat it. I found if you try to take them out of the liners too soon, the muffins will stick to the paper. You'll end up losing a lot of the goods, and that's just a sad day. So have patience to wait, or avoid using the muffin liners so you can dig in right away. To get the bro muffs out of the pan, gently tilt/pull them out by the tops. Or if you have a small offset spatula, place the spat between the muffin and the pan. Again, tilt it to one side, and then pop that bad boy out. Now that our muffins are done, eat these things as a quick snack, or pair them with a nice tall glass of a protein shake to really hit your macros for the day. Whatever you decide to do, just enjoy.
Alright, now that our blueberry chocolate protein muffins are done, let's give them the old taste-a-roo. So looking at them, they came out looking super aesthetically pleasing. They got that sweet, fat rise to them to make them look extra tall. They look really chocolatey as well. The chocolate on top is nice and gooey and melty and just delicious, like you want to dig in. The flaky sea salt on top makes it look extra bougie as well. Texture-wise, they look like they're going to be super soft. So yeah, let's dig in. These things came out super bomb. They're nice and rich and chocolatey. They're not too sweet, which is really nice. Every bite is a little bit different. Maybe the first bite you get a ton of those chocolate chunks, which is nice and chocolate-esque. The next bite you might get a ton of those blueberries with the chocolate. That adds that pop of freshness and that fruitiness that plays so well with the dark chocolate. And then in the background, you get a faint hint of that vanilla extract. That flaky sea salt that we sprinkled on top also plays well with the chocolate. Texture-wise, they're super light, airy, and really, really soft. Then you get some texture from the blueberries as well. Some of those chocolate chunks re-solidified, so you get a ton of texture from those. And that muffin top and the edges of the muffin also bring some texture to the table. Overall, these things are just the bee's knees. This recipe is super simple to make and makes for a great alternative way to get extra protein in for the day. And you can customize these things any which way you want. Maybe keep it basic and use a vanilla protein powder, or get real crazy and use a strawberries and cream protein powder and then swap the blueberries for frozen strawberries, which sounds super tasty as well. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching. And I'm gonna go figure out all the different ways I can make these muffins. So yeah, we'll see you on the next one. They look like they're gonna be really soft as well. Soft. Soft. And my phone went off, I think. I heard it, I don't know. Stupid phone. With chunks, which is nice and chocolatey. Then you get that chocolatey and airy and light. Then you get some texture. Then that little muffin top that we got on top of our muffins. Makes sense. It makes for a great alternative on top. Also plays so well with the top. What were you gonna say, bro? Chocolate?